All right. What a good intro.
That was really fun. I really like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Savvy. Actually, we're here today with the RumLab channel. Some point in my life, I will have a Florida Rum Society channel here too. But right now, and here we are having fun with my good friend Jay from Florida Rum Society, one of the founders, or the founder basically, and which is super cool that because we're gonna talk about a lot, especially about rum, but really quickly. For those who are joining us for the first time, if you see to the right side, especially if you're right now in seeing us through LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, come over to Savvy, which is zavvy.co, so you can participate from this live stream today. And you'll see to the right that you'll have a chat box, which is I see John Atkins is already here, which is great, and Kyle Leon is also connected. Darren Roberts is also connected, and I see who else. Let's see. Nice. There's 31 people, but there's something glitchy here happening. I can't see everybody's name right now. At the same time, during the live stream, if you have any questions, make sure where it says ask questions, write it down or put it on the chat box. We'll be looking at the conversation. But we'll have a 30-40 minute presentation actually, but we want people to engage with us as well. And we'll go to if there's a Q&A, we'll go to a Q&A. That's basically the standard that we've been doing for all these live streams, but it does not have to be like that always. Today's main topic is 6 rums one should buy for Christmas. And what we're doing, right, is that Jay has selected 3 rums, and I have selected 3 rums. And I'm sure it's been super hard, Jay, for you too, because you're like, oh, God, this is like, why would
the approach? Well, when we get started, I'll get into my approach, but I had 73 different approaches that I wanted to start with. But yeah, it's always hard when I have to pick a limited number of things.
Yeah, Jay gave me a tip. He already told me that the rums he likes, he's gonna say, I can't say them. He's the one who's gonna say them out loud. But I want him to explain why he likes this rum, right? And I'll explain why I like my rum, right? And we'll talk a little bit more. I'm sure we're gonna geek out a little bit about every expression. But Jay, I think the time has come. I think we should start, and we should start with rum number 1. So do you want to do rock, paper, shoot and see who goes first?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Wow, you won.
Wait, I think you did that on purpose. You were like, you delayed on purpose.
No, it's the internet feed.
All right. So I got 3 types of rum actually, and then that I chose especially for the winter and or especially for Christmas. It's a great gift. First choice that I start with is the Plantation Jamaica. The first time I saw this bottle, and I fell in love with it, just especially because of the idea of the name. Supposedly, the story says is that was the name that the native Indians used to call Jamaica. I think it was let me see, I wrote it down, the Arawaks, right? And the Arawaks actually were the enemies of the Taínos, which are the Indians from Puerto Rico. But regardless, it's an interesting story. Or like for me, if it brings me back to the islands, or just thinking about that. And I really like the creativity from Maison Ferrand, that they always look for cool names, and in addition to their branding, their bottling, their design, But this rum in general, this came out in a moment that Jamaican rum, just as now, they're super hot. They're super popular. Uh, you want that type of rum that it's gonna have those what we call the funk in the rum,
Love
uh,
the funk.
and the and in addition to that, plantation rum is known for they buy bulks of rum, bring it to France, to Mersan Ferran, and age it for a period of time. So this is right now. So this is the Express, and this is the Jamaica. It's called the Special Jamaica Special Dry by Plantation Jamaican Rum. It's 100% pot still. I have here some notes. It's Jamaican style, 100% pot still from the 19th century with a legendary rum funk. Jamaica evokes the name given to the island by its first inhabitants, the Arawaks. Plantation now owns a third of the mythical Long Pond and Clarendon Jamaican distillery. And so this is actually one of their expressions since they own the distillery. They use the old John Doerr pastel at the Long Pond and the Vendome at the Clarendon. 43% rum and made out of molasses, fermentation 1 to 3 weeks. As mentioned, distillation at the in Clarendon with pot still, Long Pond with pot still as well, tropical aging for 1 or 3 years in bourbon cask, and then continental aging is in 1 year in the Ferran cask at the Maison Ferran facility. What do you think about this rum, Jay?
I mean it definitely has that sort of classic Long Pond Clarendon feels, right? It's a little less, I guess I will say funky for lack of a better word than some of the other ones like
Yeah,
Hamden and Worthy Park, but it's approachable. It is, I mean, it's a great cocktail rum for sure, right? And the price point is fantastic. So that's it's a great it's definitely a having your mixing room.
so here it says that okay on the nose, which I agree, very complex, slightly smoky. I don't the meaty fruit, herbals, sour notes of building up. Vanilla next to vanilla comes forward, almost pastry like banana, bitter orange peel, and ripe pineapple. For me, always you do get the banana, which is great, right? And then you do get and it's still subtle. On the palate, it says it's dry. It should be because it's called the extra.
It'd be named wrong if it wasn't dry.
Yeah. Well, I like in general. Many of Puerto Rican's rums are actually dry rums, and then so that's something that's why I like. Also, one of the things that I also like, it could be mental thing that I hear the word dry, blah blah blah. So on the palate says dry with a more floral and fruitier profile of rose water, white grapes, apricot, sugar, apple, a little bit of coconut milk, balsam, allspices, bread, and nut emerges.
It's a lot more tasting notes than I ever get, but you know, I'm not a professional. I almost made Fede choke.
But 100%, I agree. Is when you have it, it's dry. It's something actually that I do like. So when I mean it's dry, that it makes it's like sour, right? And then there's a lot of like your mouth wants to put out like it dries out and then puts a lot of saliva, um, and but it's very fruity at the same time. It's a very good rum. And that's why I chose this rum today. So
I think it's great in a planter's punch, which in theory is should have a Jamaican rum, so that fits the bill.
yes. All right. So actually, other people have joined now that it's working perfectly. Is Romelu Greg, Kevin, Carlos Coral, Darren Roberts, which is great. And then let's see who else: Joe, Jason, Jerry, Oren, All right, excellent. Robert from Indiana, nice. Again, Kevin says dry because no added sugar. I really love Jamaica. Cheers on that.
That's important because to be a Jamaican rum, it can't have added sugar. So it's great that that's part of it.
Yeah, I believe it says here. 1 second. I think at one point they do say like they add a little bit of caramel, less
For
than
coloring.
one less than 0.1%, solely to adjust if needed the color between different batches, which is a common thing because when you're at the airport or you're in the supermarket, you want to see most of the expressions looking all the same, which is something that's why this caramel is used in bottling.
There you go.
All right, your turn.
All right. So I'll go through my approach because it'll make sense, right? But I wanted to do 3 different rums, obviously, but I was trying to get different price points and maybe a little bit of a different availability. So I started with a one that I think most people should be able to track down. Then the middle one is near and dear to my heart, a little bit higher price point. And then I did a baller rum. Like if you're looking for a gift for someone and you want to go all out, I'll save that one for last. But that was my approach. So I'm starting with Chairman's Reserve Forgotten Cask.
Yes.
Forgotten Casks.
Yes.
So this rum is obviously Chairman's Reserve out of St. Lucia. Really great. There's only one distillery in St. Lucia, but they're doing some fantastic stuff, and they have been for years. I think it's just they're starting to be realized a little bit more and more every year. But the story with this one is, so let me give you some facts. It's pot and column blend. There is no age statement because it's blended, but the website said 6 years is sort of where they're averaging in. Only 40% ABV, which is still great. And yeah, there you go. So the story, I guess, the legend of the Forgotten Cask is that there was a big fire at the distillery many years ago, and some casks were spared, but they didn't realize that they had missed the fire, and they ended up just staying in the burnt down rick house for some time. So when they opened them and experienced them, they were like, "This is fantastic. These are the Forgotten Casks." So this is not rum from those casks. Wish that it was, but it's not. But they made this blend to replicate and honor the historic Forgotten Casks at St. Lucia Distillers. So I get I picked this one because the price point should be around $45 to $50 to $55. Places like Total Wine will have it most likely, and other frequented liquor stores. But I really like the Christmas feels I get from it. So a lot of vanilla notes, and I'll write down my notes. I'll pour myself out a little bit. I was trying it before, but on the nose, I'm getting some coffee, like coffee bean, maple, and vanilla. And vanilla is the big theme for me, and I'll tell you why in a second. But then on the palate, I'm definitely getting that vanilla and some toffee and some spices, but it's not a spiced rum. It just has a lot of those almost elements that you would find in a spiced rum, which I find intriguing. And so for my hot buttered rum, instead of grabbing a spiced rum, I grab this because it adds a lot of those like extra feels that you want from a hot buttered rum. Now in Florida, we get to drink that about 3 days a year, but still, this is the bottle that I grab. And it's also, I don't want to insult Fede or any of our other Puerto Rican friends, but if you threw it in a coquito and maybe called it something else, since it's not really a coquito, you might not be disappointed if you gave that a try. Have you had this? Have you had this one, Fede?
I have. At home from From let's see, Sherman Reserve. I don't have that many. I have the Spice. Um, where's my selection here? Uh, I have the original, right? The finest selection.
Yep.
I also have the 2009, which I haven't opened. I need to open because and I have the their Spice.
Their spice is very good too.
Their
But
Spice.
I tend to lean towards this. Just I love the vanilla. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
And nothing added, which is great.
I see there's so much momentum with San Lucia rum and or hype, better said, and it's great, right? I'm so happy that Spirit Bomb is behind it, and because they are a great marketing force, they are a great family, and they put a lot of TLC, right? Tender love and care for their brands. So
Oh, I think that they're right. I continue to be excited by the stuff I'm seeing come out of St. Lucia, and they it has that like they have so much versatility with their different stills. I've been fortunate enough to do some barrel picks with them, right, and be able to try stuff straight off the pots and the columns, and yeah, exciting stuff to come for sure from St. Lucia.
very cool. All right, so my next selection of rum is so I'm actually staying right here, focused on the Caribbean. I went with, or I go with, Ron Barcelo Imperial Onyx. Uh, why I really like this rum and is so when you think about rums that somebody tells you like, oh, I want to try rum, I want to have something that's like, I had a bad experience when I used to drink rum because they forgot that you were buying super cost effective rum when we were in college because it's all based on budget. You have so you can buy it in vodka, rum, or other spirit, but at least they were buying it in rum, which is good. And then some people transition to spice rums, which is also phenomenal. But a great way to bring back people to drinking rum. I think about few expressions that I have in mind, and I always ask, "Do you like? Do you have a sweet tooth?" And many people love desserts, so it's an easier sell. And Ron Barcelo Imperial Onyx is like it's just perfect in my opinion for that introduction. It's Have you had it before?
I have not had this one actually. I have not experienced it, so I'm listening intently, taking some notes.
Yeah, so Ron Barcelo is number one. Here are my notes. It's a blend of rum from 10 years in ex-bourbon barrels with a heavy sharded grade, right? And because the majority of the rums that are aged are usually aged at medium grade, medium light shard rate grade. And then this rum is filtered in real onyx stones to obtain a rum with intense deep notes and unique characters. I have never seen onyx stone. I don't know what an onyx stone is. So
They're black. They're black like the bottle.
yeah, but why would that create a special filtration or a smoother flavor? I don't know. Regardless,
Marketing.
regardless, regardless, it's a delicious rum. Something that I also love about Ron Barcelo is that they're estate company, right? So they grow their own sugar cane. Most of the majority of the rum companies in Dominican Republic use molasses. They use sugarcane juice or sugarcane honey, which is phenomenal. And and then when we talked about, I'm gonna pour myself some right now. So it's there's a lot. It's like it's nice and mahogany, right? That's the typical word that we all say, mahogany. But it's beautiful. And then on the smell, it says you get a lot of caramel aroma. It's very subtle. It's like almost smell. It's a lot of butterscotch. Is it's the for me it's a great rum to once again to introduce people. And one of the things that you want to do this Christmas is convert more people to start drinking rum.
There you go.
And it's a very good rum to convince people to be like, hey, oh my God, this is amazing. Tell me more. Take me now through the whole Florida Rum Society. Ali, take me
Oh
down the
man,
road to the road of happiness with Jay. And then you bring in this rum.
I love this road of happiness. I can't wait to bring people down it. That's a. I'm actually doing a tasting for some friends who have gotten more and more into rum on Sunday night. So always like to do a little something special with my friends during the holiday season. So it'll be fun.
All right. So on the taste, it says toasted fragrance of caramel, brown butter, a subtle hint of sherry, coffee, nuts. There's wood for sure. There's vanilla, 100%, especially in the aftertaste. You have those two. It's clear, persistent aftertaste of wood and vanilla, 100%. I agree. 40% ABV. What's interesting is that what we buy here in the US is so it's 750 millimeters, and then in Europe, all the bottles right are smaller. I think this is
70s.
700. Yep. Let's see.
70 centiliters or 700 milliliters.
Yeah, this is 700 millimeters. So this is the original Ron Barceló Imperial. This is the basic one, traditional one, right? And then they created the Barceló Imperial Onyx.
All right. There you go. I learned a little bit tonight.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I don't want to. Huh.
I joined the chat. I joined the chat so I could see what people were saying.
Okay. Okay, good one from Barcelo. Thank you, Carlos, for that you like it. Darren says that he loves San Lucia rum, which I agree.
I mean, Darren better like it. He helped pick the first Chairman's Reserve Florida Rum Society barrel, which is only our second barrel ever. So that's a way back machine. Shout out to Darren.
Excellent. All right, your turn.
All right. So I am jumping up into one that a rum in general that if you know me, you knew it was going to make an appearance, but it's near and dear to my heart. So I am going, just like you started, to Jamaica. I have a Worthy Park bottle here, but this one specifically is, I got to turn to the camera. So this one specifically is a Florida Rum Society pick. So this is our, actually our second pick with Worthy Park. We did one last year called Gemini. That was a 13-year Worthy Park medium. It's been long sold out. So while that continues to be my favorite rum of all time, I didn't think it was fair to pick something that no one could obtain. So I'm going with our pick this year. We have named it Worthy Successor, and its story is that the standard Worthy Park single estate blend was blended and left at full proof. So they took all the marks that they blend for their normal release. That's about $60, and put it in, blended it, didn't proof it down, and put it in a port barrel for 3 years. So that blend is a 6 to 10 year blend. And then it had an additional 3 years blended in the port barrel, which gives it, I mean, it definitely has this sort of reddish hue that you can probably see. The sticker helps, but this reddish hue, it was a ruby port barrel for 3 years. And this is the first time that they have aged the blend at full proof and then bottled it at the full proof 60 2%. So this one packs a wallop. It's a shade under 100, and it's available in the Florida Rum Society rum shop. But I really, really love the notes I get off of this. So it's the nose is strong. Don't get me wrong. It's 62%. Like that's before everybody else got on. I was smelling, trying to get some good notes, and Fede was laughing at me because it was like I just couldn't. It's almost too concentrated in the Glencairn, but I get a lot of bright like apple, almost like crisp apple and pineapple. Not the fruit, but the like rind of the pineapple in there. And then I wrote down my palate, so you guys don't have to like watch me try to taste it. But lots of cherry, lots of plum. Still that like bite from the Jamaica. It opens up with a little water, which I think a lot of people would benefit from. But this is like if you're the type of person that's like, hey, I'm gonna have a little Porto after dinner, after my Christmas dinner or something like that, like pour a little bit of this because it will maybe like 2 drops of cold water and sip it because it just has a phenomenal experience in my opinion. Once again, Worthy Park is doing some great stuff down there in Jamaica.
They're doing well, and it's they're estate, right? They're estate grown.
All estate. So right, all the molasses used to make the rum, the sugar cane is grown right there. I had a great experience in September that I was able to go down there and visit the estate and got to go through the cane fields. And I mean, right, they weren't harvesting; it was growing, but it was full grown. And I think they start harvesting in January is when they start. But just this valley and these rolling hills and mountains and the canes all up the side. But then yeah, they harvest it, turn it into granulated sugar. Only 2 sugar factories left on Jamaica, and then all the molasses that they utilize that is the byproduct is used to make their great rums. So either Worthy Park branded rums or Rum Bar is their sort of mixing line of rums.
And it's something that I want to be, maybe you know this information because I remember vaguely all the sugar cane juice or all the sugar, basically they sell it directly to the government and then they had to buy it back to make the rum. Is that the way, something like that? It was pretty funky. I gotta ask the team over there, but
we'll have to validate that. I don't know. There is some government something involved, but I don't know if it's involved for the molasses. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Ready, set, rum. I like it that you guys are here too. Traders Jay. Well, that's you.
Kevin was bragging that he knew there would be a Worthy Park. He knows my love. He knows my love for Worthy Park.
I know, and it was good because I felt so relaxed because it was one of the rums that I was going to choose too. And then when I ask you which are the rums that you're choosing,
what were you going to pick? Which one?
I like their simple. I like their white rum,
estate?
And there's I like
silver, the Rum Bar Silver or the Overproof.
The Overproof. I love the Overproof.
I use the heck out of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's they're doing a phenomenal job. I love what they're doing in marketing locally, and for I think the whole marketing team there has to be dancing all the time with all the parties that they are sponsoring, which is phenomenal. All right, so my third pick right now, and I can't say this is like the last rum that I want to recommend. I chose 3, but there's so many more that I would love to choose, right? And so I chose English Harbor Reserve, 10 years, from Antigua Distillery, right? This is actually a delicious, delicious rum. You can see that gold color too from the mahogany. And it used to be a rum that used to be aged a minimum from 10 years up to 25. Standard right now is 10 to 12. There's doing a lot of projects doing different flavors of rum, port cast, finish, blah blah. So cherry cast. So I imagine they have to select some of their juice wisely. Um, Made out of molasses, ultra rich, with some funk, with extra. It says intense tropical sweetness and spice perfectly. Deep mahogany rum distilled from fermented molasses, aged 10 years in used whiskey and ex-bourbon barrels. Um, there's a great, I think one of the best live streams that I did right at the beginning of COVID was the distillery tour at the Antigua Distillery with Calvert, and it was phenomenal because he had great reception and he just took us through the entire distillery, and Calvert explained it really well in detail, and a lot of engagement.
That's awesome. I've only had the 5-year of this, so you'll have to bring me through it. Is it pot and column? Just column?
So there are columns still.
Got it.
It's at this one is 40%. And let me see if there's any other. Wait, sorry. I was drinking a little bit of water, cleansing my cup, and now serving a little bit of.
No water. Oh, if you're using the same cup, I brought my own 3 different glasses.
All right, so here's. So it's just, once again, it's a mellow drive through Happy Land, right? And then if it says it's very sweet, butterscotch, cinnamon, coconut. All right, and then on the taste.
Is this available in the world, in the United States?
Yeah,
Or did you have to go to Antigua?
Yeah, so really on the taste, I'm reading on the nose. It says butterscotch. I don't get too much of butterscotch. I get more like a creamy vanilla, and then but it's not too buttery. Which I don't get me wrong, the Imperial was very buttery, which I love too. And then the other one was very dry. So here, this one is like a perfect balance from like buttery, extra dry to like nice and subtle. Touches of thick coffee and baked apple, and I will agree with the coffee. And yes, it says a viscous mouthfeel, and with a smoky center in the body.
Smoky center.
So you do get a little bit of, so you get a sense of spice, small spice, spices, right? And that it also
sounds a little bit like the chairman's Forgotten Cast, the way similar notes and feel. It sounds like a little bit older.
In my opinion, I love sipping rum. I love cocktails as well. But in general, I don't know if you've seen how much I pour. I pour myself usually very little, and then I try them, I smell them, and I could be with the same glass for a long period of time, and just trying to revive or like activate those memory cells of like opening those archives of like, oh yes, this is how this product smells. Because many times we talk about it and we say it in seminars or we talk about it on presentations, live streams, but we're like, I don't remember how hypothetically maple syrup smells. And so it varies, right?
I agree. I agree.
So that is my third choice. You ask if this rum is available in the U.S. It is available in the U.S. Selected market. They actually Antigua Rum Distillery, the Antigua Distillery. They were changing importers, so they're right now, and they were able to do that in 2022. And that's why they will be able to participate from all the rum festivals this year, which is great. But unfortunately, that's why they did not participate last year, as they were shifting from uh, their importers and distributors.
There you go. Perfect.
All right.
All right.
So the closing.
Ready for my?
It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
but one more.
Well, this is my third, and we'll see where it goes from there. So this rum just hit the market within the last month. I was fortunate enough to be with the owner of the rum company, and as a hurricane was barreling down on Florida, ironically enough, our second one of the year. But I had a chance to sample it and immediately needed a bottle. So this is, for those of you who have had the chance to experience from our good friends at Holmes Key. This is, so I really should start with this. This is their rarest selection collection. Say that a bunch of times fast. But they have bottled two super old barrels. One is a Barbados, but I chose the 2001 Fiji, which is what is, we believe, I have no reason to believe it's not true, is the oldest Fiji ever bottled in the world, ever. It comes in this fantastic box. It is nice and inside, and it talks about it as well. But I will also show the bottle that we're coming with. So the standard Holmes Key, 21 years, distilled in 2001. It spent 2 years in Fiji. Another important thing, which you don't get a lot of from Fiji rums, is 100% pot still. So 2 years in Fiji and then 19 years in the UK.
Okay.
And American oak, they did not proof it down. So it came out. I mean, there was a lot of stuff happening, of course, over 21 years, but 53.6% ABV. So if you're looking, I mean, I'll tell you the retail is $250 on this, but it is, in my opinion, if you are looking for something really special for the rum lover in your life, like this is what you need to hunt down. So their 2004 Fiji made a big splash when they first did it, and I think they still have another cask of that left. But this one is just phenomenal. Every time, and you can see I haven't taken that much out of the bottle, but every time I've tasted it, sort of like Fede, I've tasted just a little bit and I get something different. But this time on the nose, I'm getting a lot of leather and almost like Carony type notes, but don't let that, like if you're not a Carony fan, don't let that sway you, because it's not that like harsh tar. It's the sweeter side of the Carony. And then on the palate, it's again different every time. There's a lot of oak, a lot of tobacco. I'm getting some like if you took brown sugar and boiled it, like melted it down, make it not as sweet. Like I'm getting some of that. Almost some like crushed up leaves. Like, is that a thing? I don't know, but it just came to me right now. So this obviously it's an independent bottler, probably one of the largest in in the country. Europe's been doing it for years, but United States hasn't been doing as much independent bottling until late. But Eric K is picking some great barrels, and I wouldn't rest on this. I know, like, inevitably, I'm going to be asked, or someone's going to be asked. It's hard to find. There was only 200 and something bottles, 200 bottles of it. So very limited. If I think the Florida Rum Shop, which is currently sold out, is getting 6 more bottles. So if someone on this call wants one, then send me an email, Florida Rum Society, FloridaRumSociety@gmail.com. I'm working on if we can make that happen. But I would, if you're really interested, let me know and we can try to find you a bottle.
Excellent. So we're talking about prices, right? You mentioned, so the first rum that you showed us, what was the price range? Right? $50.
Yeah.
You went to 100.
Well, it's like 90, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you jumped to 250.
Yeah. For your cousin that you only sort of like, for your father or brother,
and for yourself,
for your husband or wife. I mean, it's perfect.
For your wife, and she'll be like, I don't drink rum. Oh, you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'll just keep it. No. All right, I went with Plantation Jamaica, which is like around $35. Then I also kept it around for Barcelona Imperial Onyx, and this is all online, and you can get it at Cask Cartel most likely, and it all depends. So Jamaica is at Total Wine, Bev Milk, Casker, everywhere. The Imperial, I see that is at Total Wine, Ship Liquor, Wooden Cask. They actually, on their website, they actually are presenting, and that's actually great. Something that happened with the pandemic is that every company's updating their website. You can literally just go there to a website, and it will take you to the closest distributor, right, or the closest retailer. Sorry. And then last but not least, I went with the English Harbor Reserve 10 years, which is it's around $140 for this bottle.
All right. Well, I mean, we were just a percentage off for each one.
Well, I actually, I was not.
It's a Christmas present. You get it's the season of giving.
100%. You're right. Okay, so one more. Let's choose one more rum. We have a little bit of time. We got this.
All right.
So one more.
Do you have one line? You have one lined up. I have to go behind the bar and grab it.
So actually, I'm gonna select this one.
All right. You got it? You ready?
Yes. Okay, I went with the Don Q Gran Añejo. This is the original bottle, right? Now that bottle did change to this one. This is their new packaging.
Yeah, they changed it last year, but same theory.
So why I love this? So there's a lot of history behind this rum. Number one, when it was created was when Puerto Rico celebrated 500 years from being discovered by the Europeans. So this is basically one of the first expressions that they did really high end, and it is extremely economical, right? It's extremely well priced. And then so here on the new barrel, well, on the previous one, and there's still some of these bottles out there available, is that it has this cork.
Oh yeah, that's hard to get out. The old one, yeah.
No, but you fill it up here.
Wait, what?
and that gives you.
How much is it? Is it a measurement?
So it's a measurement of 1.5 ounces, right?
Oh,
And then
I mean, that's fancy.
it's really cool.
I have that bottle. I never knew it did that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that was one of the cool things that they did when they launched this bottle. Uh, yeah, so this is one of collector's items that I have. I have more over there, the same bottle from previous years. Because Don Q, something that's super interesting. You see, this is the one of the recent logos of Don Q. Then it changed to this one, but before the Q used to be right next to the DON, to the Don.
Yeah, yeah.
And they changed that in the U because in the way it was read in the US was called dunk. And they were like,
Ah,
oh, give me a dunk. And then doing this
oh,
variation,
yeah.
this change, right, created to like clearly, oh, give me a dunk and then a Q. So La Familia Serrayes is also a family that I've been in the entertainment business all my life. And they helped me since day one. I was like probably like 17 years old. I present myself to their office. That back then it was Rafael Aleman, Tato Higuera, and Don Fao Serrayes, Faito Serrayes, which is and then and Eduardo Techea, and they basically took me in like an adopted child, and it was great. They helped me with all my career as I was building up, and then this rum is extremely well priced. Um, on the it says here back on the label, Gran Reserva Añejo is blended of rum aged in Puerto Rico for a minimum of 9 years that exhibits a remarkable complexity, distinct balance, and a smooth elegance that are hard to find in other spirits. Finished in warm and long with notes of chocolate and toasted oats. Um, so yeah, this is hard because so you're like, okay, which one should I start? Which one should I choose? And then I'm
No,
like,
the Don Q is great. I have bottles of it. We just had an event here in Florida, and they sponsor one of the cocktails, a coquito with Don Q. Now it can be called a coquito, but it was a blend of Don Q7 and Don Q 151. It was phenomenal. So they're doing some great stuff down there for sure.
so on the smell, it's actually one of the oldest distilleries, right? That is still out there, and it's from 1860, 1866 or something like this, or 1868. Wait, let me see. It says this right here. I messed up. Uh, 1865.
There you go.
1865. So for me, a lot of the or at least in Don Q, when we talk about like a light rum, it smells like very subtle. Don Q is actually one of our favorite rum to drink in Puerto Rico. They did a phenomenal job when in the years when rum were competing against vodka, and Don Q Cristal. It's just a phenomenal rum for mixing. So it's extremely subtle, and then but this one you
You
get
don't mix that.
no. Well, you can also sorry. You drink. Everybody drinks their rum as they like, right? And I
Sure.
actually I like it with sometimes I like it with coconut. Most of the time I drink it with coconut water, or club soda.
Gotcha.
Mm. Dry, spicy, woody.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's
All right.
all right. Your turn.
All right, so I went totally different off the walls. Um, this is, I debated whether to include this, and John Gulla convinced me to do the different one. No, I'm kidding, but I talked to him about it because he just picked it as one of them, John or Will, on the Rumcast picked it to be one of their like favorite daiquiri rums, like sleeper daiquiri rums, and so it is the Pierre Labat 59 out of Marie Gallant. So this
Wow.
is an unaged agricole rum, not from Martinique, but from Marie Gallant, which is part of Guadeloupe, I think. I don't know how all those things work, but yes. Um, it is, I mean, I am not a, I will say that my hand doesn't always go to agricole, but this one is something special. And um, we had a Florida Rum Society event in at Boat Drinks, which is a bar in St. Augustine, phenomenal rum bar. And my wife actually was drinking daiquiris made with this, and she was like, "This is some of the best daiquiris I've ever had." I'm like, "I have a bottle of that. You never expressed any interest, um, but yeah." So I mean, classic agricole, but a little softer and a little like sweetgrass on the nose. Um, the palate is for 50, like you would never guess that this is a 59% unaged
Oh, really?
agricole rum.
Because it's smooth.
Um, it is. It's very soft. It's very. I mean, you get all this. You get all the grassiness that you could possibly get, but in like the mellowest way. And if you're gonna try it with a daiquiri, I would recommend like a drop of saline, like
Mhm.
just one or two, because it just pair like having that like little bit of salt, um, a 10 to 1, just really like opens it up and creates a great experience. Tea punch, of course, would also be great with this, but this one is I don't know where all you can have it. It shows up in Florida, but not as prevalent. It's imported by PM Spirits, um, who also distributes in New York. So you can probably definitely find it at Astor. Um, and they ship a lot of places. So, but Pierre Labat, definitely don't sleep on it. I mean, the bottle is as basic as it comes, so it's not going to be eye catching. But the rum itself is a great one. And I don't know if they still do it. I think so. It's a full liter, so you're getting some cost savings in buying a liter. There you go. That's my sleeper.
Very nice. Man, the I wanted to say that the Don Q is also it's less than $60 in the market, right? And it's that's when you're like, man, you had it. So we're so fortunate right now as consumers of that we're not going through this crazy wave that bourbon has gone to. Um, that
Yeah, you can get some great stuff for a good price for sure.
extremely well priced, right? Which is phenomenal. So it says on the Donku Gran Reserva on their website, it says aged mellowing spirit. It also brings out a new flavor aroma. Our Gran Reserva contains rums aged between 9 to 12 years and Solera rums up to 50 years, creating a balance between sweet and dry that you won't get in other spirits. But this is for this one. This
Yeah.
is when they transition the previous bottle to this one.
I was just looking it up. It looks like Astor has this for 41. So once again, it's a great price for a
Yeah.
liter of agricole.
All right. Well, I think we conclude on basically 8 rums that one should buy for Christmas, which is phenomenal. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. This was a very good reason on having a good cocktail on a Wednesday or sipping a little bit of rum, better said, on a Wednesday. And it's always fun to uh, spend time with our good friends like Jay and everybody else that's connected as well. And I appreciate it, all the engagement from everybody here, from Darren and John and Jamie, and everybody else who has been part of the collaboration. And it makes us very fortunate to be here. All right. Enough says. Thank you, everyone. Have a happy holidays. Hope to see you guys at the Miami Rum Congress or any of the other events that Florida Rum Society does or we do in the US. All right. Adios.
Cheers.